Hi everyone, Steve here from Racelab. Today I'm going to touch on getting started in karting. I get a lot of people coming through my door, sending emails, phoning all the time, and they're all asking questions on how they can get started in karting. Usually it ends up being a good hour and a half of them in my showroom, trying to cover all the questions they have, and understandably so, because sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating looking at a sport like this where it's not very well publicized. So we're going to cover the major topics here. First thing you got to do when you're deciding is, of course, the age of the driver. If it's for yourself and you're, a senior, and which is 15 years and older, then that's one thing. If you're looking at getting your kids into karting and they're 8 to 14, then they're considered juniors. In junior, you have two options. You have your 4-cycle option, which in Canada and most of the United States now is the Briggs & Stratton LO206 race program. It's a 4-cycle sealed engine package. It's a great way to get started, super low cost, low maintenance. You can be of any background and be totally competent and capable of working on the kart and managing it. If you want to get into something a little racier, you can get into the Rotax package, which is either the micro, the mini, or the junior max, depending on the age of your child, and or else the senior categories would just be the max senior. Now that's pretty pertinent to where we are here in Vancouver. There's also like the Rock GP, the tag categories, that kind of thing, which you can get into for a little bit less money now, and that's going to be a slightly less intimidating racing environment than the Rotax will be, where you're going to find a deeper talent pool in there this year, from what I'm being told at least. When you're getting into it, your options are always dictated by budget. You've got your people that come in and they want to spend as little as possible, and they're hemming and hawing over which kart to buy, and they look on Craigslist, they look all around, and these are their options. But really what you want to do is eliminate those options and look at what you're going to get is going to be the most reliable when you're working on a limited budget. When you're working on a limited budget, I suggest looking at the LO206 category. It'll run forever. The cost is very minimal. If you were to have a catastrophic failure on the motor or something like that, the replacement cost is minimal. Where getting yourself into, like I say, a used 2-stroke, where the ticket price might seem pretty low on a used website or something like that, chances are if something goes wrong, it's going to be quite costly. So working on a budget, buy even a used LO206, go to a local kart shop or a dealer of some sort. I know we always have them, and it's a great way to get started because you have somebody who's accountable for the product that you're buying. And when you get to a racetrack, that's really important to have somebody who knows what they're talking about. They're helping you. If something goes wrong, they're there to back it up, rather than you just buying some garage kart that when you show up there and something lets go inside the engine and you don't know how to deal with it, and you're kind of on your own, unfortunately. Now, for those willing to look a little bit more up, higher end, or a little bit more upscale, the 2-stroke new packages are definitely advised, and not just because we're in the business of selling go-karts, but there's a reason for it. It's racing equipment is used hard, and that's just the premise of it. I mean, it's something that you're always pushing to its limit on a daily basis. So when you go new, you definitely have a lot more of a lifespan on the equipment, a lot less hassle on it, a lot less little detailed problems that you're trying to weed out over time. So going new is definitely the way I suggest in the beginning, if you can. But again, if it doesn't fit the budget, then there are definitely good used options. But it's definitely a good idea if you're thinking seriously about doing it to give us a call, and then we can go over what your needs and your what your sort of expectations are, and then we can put a package together for you specifically. From there, you've got some other things you're going to need: your equipment, your race wear, your helmets, your suits, your gloves, your shoes, rear protectors, kart stand, some fuel jugs, some metric tools, that kind of stuff. But which sounds a little overwhelming when I rattle it off like that, but it's not too bad. We can even just put a kit for you together that makes it easy, and you just do it all as part of your first time purchase. The Annual cost from there are your entry fees at club races. You've got your tires, which if you're running LO to a 6, you maybe do 1-2 sets a year. If you're doing 2-stroke, in your first year, it's not necessary to put that many on, but you could probably put maybe 3-4 sets a year. And then once you start getting more competitive, then you'll probably even put more than that on throughout the season. Engine service, maybe once or twice a season. Then it's just sort of your fuel and oil costs, really, and any crash damage, but hopefully there won't be too much of that throughout the year. And typically we don't see a lot of that anymore. It's the small little thing here and there, but it's certainly not a crash fest like sometimes you see on YouTube videos. The local club here in Vancouver is the West Coast Kart Club. They run out in Chilliwack at the Greg Moore Raceway. I believe it's around $500 a season. You get an unlimited pass, memberships, you get a key to the track, you're a member, it gives you your license for the track, all that. So you can go there any day you wish, as long as there's not an event booked on it. You can go drive up there. So really, it's a fantastic value for the price. From there, you just got to get out there, and you can do race team programs with us. You can do practice programs. You can do training programs with us. We have it all. So whatever your expectations again, or whatever your goals are, I mean, we can definitely help you out with that. But the first step is really just deciding what your budget is, where you want to go with it in the long run, and then from there you can decide whether you want to go with a new package or a used package, whether it's 2-stroke or 4-stroke, and that's really what it shakes down to these days. When you go on the internet, I know I get this all the time from newbies coming in, and they're so confused because they see this motor, that motor, this chassis, that chassis, and all that. And in your first year, it really doesn't make a massive difference from one to the other. It's no different than any other sport. If you go buy a high-end bicycle, a high-end set of skis, and you're at an amateur level, you're probably not going to be at an Olympic level right away. So I would definitely look at what fits the budget and what fits your future plan. Again, if you're going to go, you planning to do this for quite a while, then maybe going new might be the right way, because the chassis will be fresher, it will last longer, the technology will be more current, the parts availability will be more consistent, and that's generally one of the biggest hits we find on used carts is if they're a couple years old, the parts aren't working, or the parts aren't available, excuse me, over a long term. And when you get to races, if you have a crash and you need a front left spindle and it's a 2004 obscure kart brand, then you might have a bit of a difficult time. But if it's a brand new Atomic or CRG or something like that, you'll be able to walk right under our tent and pick one up and walk out with it in a couple of seconds. So those are some of the key things you want to look at. But definitely take a look around the website. That's kind of the whole plan of what we're doing here with the new the Racelab.com. Trying to make it so that it's very easy for you to navigate and a great source of information with everything, both technical, how-tos, and we're going to be continuing these video blogs. So definitely take a look around, see if there's anything you like there, and if you have any questions, make sure you give us a call at theracelab.com, 604-420-1160, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thanks again.